My decision to trade less. It costs less. The benefit of the broker is less. The two benefits are competing a little. If they're good brokers, people are looking for them. The opportunity is good. Many times, the broker is too much influenced by the news. Maybe the news is shared by others. Because the news analysis gets to people's ears. It forms a story. That sounds very reasonable. But people make cheese. Give me your trust. So, you interrupt. Communication, in terms
Maybe
of
a good
instrumental
stop.
analysis. Any business with a broker, what are they doing? Just take good care of your account. The line service, everything is stable, is okay. Smile came back to me today. Let me ask you a question. The principles of his personal management. Many things I say to you and others. I think most of them aren't mentioned much. For small things like, the thing is that I can't invest. Take someone else's money. You can't let your wife know this. I don't think it's important, but later I knew it was important. I can explain it to everyone. It's the history. Why did you bring them out? Is that a principle? First, there's a reason for it. The most important thing is that you read about psychology. It determines a lot in investment outcomes. Beyond the basic analysis, technical analysis, it's about managing your own personal psychology. Great for your investment results. For example, you have some money. Let the people in your family know. What am I investing in? How much money are you investing? The first is that people don't understand themselves. I don't understand my endurance. People's endurance is different. When people can make a profit, they want to make a profit right away. That people don't. Studying stocks or property. People don't know hope. How about those properties? People just have a personal view. Just like a normal person. With the normal, instinctive human psyche. It's people. Afraid of losing interest. If that hole is under a lot of pressure, people may not say anything. But some people find your face light. The investors themselves will also feel uncomfortable in the hole. I feel like looking back is one. The second is that their ability to withstand losses can be high. But because of the pressure of others to know the account, it will make me make the wrong decision. In the process that you invest, I saw this, or experienced those things. How is it directly? Well, that's a good example. You've been through a deal like that. So, you just pulled out. From then on, I managed very well. Sometimes there are very strict rules. For example, you don't want your family to know that I was. How much money is going into this stock market or other assets like crypto and stuff like that? It's because I don't want to let people put more pressure on you. Pressure on the market and the volatility of stocks or assets. It's already too big. When there is another pressure, his decision is no longer wise. That's why you don't let people know. It's also one of the main reasons. It's from a deal. That's the deal you think of. I don't know the actual outcome of the deal. The consumer massage you lost. It doesn't know how much it raised before. But you buy 10. Now it's listed. It's also increased a lot. Pay dividends and stock money and stuff. I don't know the specifics because it was later listed. Before that, when it doesn't report those things. You don't know how much you lost on that deal. I know it takes a lot, but with this deal, I figured out if I don't need to sell the top. It also takes 50 times as much. It takes 80 times for the price you sell. Although at that time I order with not much volume. I have successfully invested in 2. 6 that after selling FPT, what we keep is the property. A lot of people can too. I know myself best after 8. You're a professional at that. Friends and relatives. I know I make money from the stock market. People ask, she has a sister who is very close to you. I have some money, you can invest in me. I also see that there are opportunities. I don't think I was young at the time. Make a profit. So I decided to take it. That's about $130 million. Then you sell it a little higher. Profit for people. But that's what's wrong with your principles. Later I decided not to take the money of any AI. You only invest in yourself. That's why we're telling the story today. Let me have something. That's the principle of money management. You bought the food size stock. PTB from the time when it was very cheap. It's not just on the floor. You have to buy 2 years or 12. About 10, 34,000. If you look at the stuff back here, it's about now more than 1,000. If it goes up to about 20%, you sell it? I feel like I'm not confident about that. At least me. I keep making profits for people. You invest about 2/3, and she's invested about 1/3. You have it in your account. I want it when I sell. Or I buy. I'm transparent. So, when I'm done selling, I also sold it at that price. I didn't to sell it and sold it to people later on the price. Then it's a bad story. That brothers together. So, you sell your share. And then, because I have no experience, fruit, it also affects your downfall. Year to not 13, it's lost its direction. Because then the stock, it's also relatively good. Slowly it went up and I didn't dare to buy it back. Later I will operate in a different way. I can act better. You can reduce the cost, but I'll go back to the stock. Because I didn't want to look at the wrong thing. My son is too experienced. You sold that part and you sent her the money back. Since then, you won't. You've never had any money from anyone. Although a lot of friends. I also suggest taking the money to invest, but he refused. And he said that if there's a recommendation, there's nothing certain. If the recommendation is lost, but you didn't offer any cooperation. Gold from the bottom. Not to mention eating. It seems that the price has to increase. I have to buy it more than 50 times. 80 times if compared to the top. I won't sell the top, but I will keep it. If only I had the principle from the beginning. It's basically the time I was myself. Find out about the business. It's not as deep as it is now. Just go through the financial statements, the industry. All my knowledge is still very young. My investment experience is very small. So, when I came in, just felt like the cheap. But at that time of the market, the pay. It's cheap. All the stocks, even the deaf ones. It's very cheap. I just don't. Analysis is the sustainability of where does this career go? I can invest and pay. This stock is only about BA4. That's about 3 to 4 years of payback, if at that price. But without understanding, and then I'm under pressure to take other people's money. It has a huge psychological impact. Later it's also a business that I miss. It took a long time to forget it. Successful investors, they all have deals. It's very regrettable. When I first came in, I didn't know many stocks. When I lost all my money, what I came back, there's a lot of stock. I almost always buy at high prices. When I buy it, it goes higher. As long as the stock is valuable and it's grown. It's starting to look. It's a lot of opportunities. I just lack money. And the thing about taking other people's money, it's very pressurized. That's where it leads to action that I can't control. The first is because of your knowledge is limited. But make your own profit. There was also a name before. Old, a lot of money. So, even though so at the time, I also feel somewhat confident because ordinary people don't know much. Is very confident? Be confident with your knowledge, with its market access. We just went through a crisis. It's just starting to grow up. It's not high. The analysis of the business, about the profession. Then you don't know the Fu Quoc stock. Strengths, what is it? I actually just saw the pay. It was low and it was an X+. Hey, it's so attractive. I can't go too deep to find out. Is what industry it's in? All I know is that it has 2 parts. Toyota only. I don't understand what a car is. What percentage of the profit is that? It's the ability to read the financial statements. It was very young. So I can't read the whole thing. The business growth story. Even though business is the word for Ras Army, the state of Ra, when listing up 2 or 12, I remember only 10 of the state, yes. It also comes from the state and property. It's a lot of things. It's a pretty exclusive After industry. That it's you. No more taking other people's money. There's one principle. You and your broker are very understanding. You also have a principle. The first is not to take other people's money. The second is no stock desk with both brokers, especially the one that directly manages your account. The third is that you ask the broker to never reveal your account because it puts pressure. I didn't talk about stocks because I just saw that. The benefits of the broker will fall against the investor. Let's say we trade a little bit. It also reduces the cost. Of course, you're not a very heavy trader. My decision to trade less. It costs less. The benefit of the broker is less. It's a personal view. The 2 benefits are competing a little bit. If the brokers, good people also find opportunities for themselves. Sometimes the broker is too much impact on the news. Maybe the news is somebody else's. Because the news analysis gets to people's ears. It forms a story. That sounds very reasonable. People make cheese for themselves. Trust for me. So, you cut off communication in terms of analysis, specifically a stock or a business, without brokers that they're just taking care of. My account for good. The line service, everything is stable is okay. That is, if I trade with a broker, the broker knows he's successful. If we talk too deeply, it is likely that broker's going to tell that story with the same somebody else. I can handle the loss. But the Kia can't handle it? Right. They can't possibly know about the news. That's business. They can give it to themselves. Let me make the decision to buy the business. That's the impact part of the broker. When it's overflown, that means it's biased. It's more inspiring for me. Let's say it's in your mind. For example, I acted too much. But the main one, the broker you need most is not exposed. The account. Just like with my family, playing cards that reveal you, it's very dangerous. It makes it psychologically dynamic. The whole is psychologically heavy. They are just afraid if they lose interest. Your brand also has an impact. My selling point is hard to explain. All of that, it makes a psychological impact. Investing, the psychology is the most important. It's all psychological. From which, how account administration goes, how capital. It all affects the psyche. Outside of business fundamental, the market out, the psychological management. It determines the success of the investor. Is like, you mentioned being in the family. It's usually when we invest. Or what I do, that's what I say. Wife or husband. Or a lover. Should that be? I don't think so. And personally, you're very strict about that. It's not about money or anything. But you don't. I want that mentality to affect me. Sometimes the woman. It's important that people don't understand the market. People don't know what fate is. How is the market going? People only see their point of purchase and their point of purchase. That's my buying point. If you show them off, they can be. It's time for interests like this. I told you to make 100% profit, then that's one too. It makes my psyche wobble. If you don't lock it down, why? And if you lock it up again, I blame people. It's not a decision anymore, and my personal too. It's been psychologically influenced by someone else. Next time, if they're right, people can give you a piece of advice. Of next time, it's affecting my mind again. It's always from the beginning. Let it not affect your psyche. Yeah, that means you invest things that you won't see. Or it's an AI in the family. Right, you simply will. It's all on the account and everything. Whatever it is, it's on the account. For you personally, I think there might be a lot of people. There are many families or wives who are people unfit. Still ask that. It's also a barrier. Your wife accepts that too? Both husband and wife invest That's together. A lot of risk. I think it's going to be a lot of VA touches. This investment is highly personal. Everyone has a taste. It's my personal view. My ego. If you go back and find out, people have their own instincts. Everyone has their own psychological instincts. The impact of the market on each person is very different. Maybe the wife's rate of investment is low. People can trade a lot. People who go to the market can win. But with a man with big money, that kind of trading, the psychological pressure is great. I didn't win the same code. But it's possible. One person wins, but the other loses. It's the same tune that you sell. If you can't stand it, it becomes whole through the beat. There are stocks. It's just an adjustment. It's not a distribution. It's a positive one if I can keep it. That's the hard part. Everyone has a very personal point of view. To people in the same family invest. In general, you both went to work. There was a problem. It's a little hard to get along. So it is that when it comes to investing, it's like someone who likes to invest money is to meet a speculator who eats big and usually eats fast. To people are easy to argue with. It's easy to argue in this, but the meat in the stock is very high, and sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it has to be conservative to eat. It's only just past the stage. Difficulty of the market. A lot of deal that through difficult periods it increases. It's terrible. If anyone has a good tolerance, you can go through that again. There are people who look short-term. People can't get through. Maybe people are safe, but people can't get through. People don't. You can change your financial position. There are people you know. My wife can be a broker. Two couples are sorry for a few fees. Dream conditions. In the optimal things are often the husband is open. Account and wife manager. I can see it myself. It's easy to lose 7, and I saw a case like that. My husband. Open an account with your wife. Sometimes they even hit derivatives. I was nervous. My wife. You know what your loss is. It's too risky. When I'm stressed, it's almost impossible to give one. The decision. It's wise and it's right. That's right. I feel like when I'm doing something, next to people looking at me, people know all their results. It's always psychologically heavy. Make a decision that's never wise. People often think it's what people do. It comes from reason, but you give or talk about what psychological and emotions are what we make decisions about. The final act of buying or selling. It usually comes from feeling. That's what people think it is, but most actions are emotional. What's the extent of your training? Will his emotions be lessened? And I don't believe that AI can throw it away completely, because that's the human survival instinct. When people are born, they have instinct. This competitive survival instinct, this curiosity, they have the ability. But the ability, training and staying long in a market, or one of my own businesses, we will know what our weaknesses are. Gradually I managed. People talk a lot about emotional management. It's not about removing emotions. Right. I trade or I invest. You have to get rid of emotions. That's absurd. I don't think so. For example, that's become a machine. It's become a system. It's just a system. It's just a trading robot. There may be drops or rises. It will be out of people's control. People can't eat big either. If it's a fixed system, you can't make it big. People will. There's a rule that says, then that's the hard part. If you want to be optimal in one part, it has to be in another. It has to accept. So, it can't be a robot. I don't believe in robots either. Bots that can be traded in this way. Bot. It can fit into a stage, like wrong. The wave oscillates in one segment. So, the bot. It might be more called human. Resistance could be selling. Support can be purchased. But with humans, then people need emotions in there too. Feeling in there. There's personal analysis in there. Yeah, the boss can't be perfect like that. Because as a boss, it can't measure the cycle. Maybe it measures a specific point. Extreme climax. It's almost impossible to measure. Or the point of extreme fear. So people are good. He said he didn't know where to sell. Right. My feelings, it comes from what you say, are the principles. Not letting others know about. Don't let your family know this. It's almost as small as that. It affects my psyche a lot. But a lot of people make a mistake. Right. People think it's a small thing. But it's a big deal. Do you see that there's a small spot? That it impacts investors a lot and investors accidentally, I don't know. For example, this is a community where people come in. You can enter for free. Or you can just sit there when you're pressed. Believe me, is that dangerous? I think the group, either way, it has a purpose. It could be the transmission of knowledge. Create a group for people to speculate. Sometimes I do. The object is exploited in stock recommendation. The risk is that we have to analyze. It could be people. There are counselors and people. Open an account in your group. Every group you think exists for a reason. What's my reason for going there? I have to analyze. On the contrary, what is the purpose of the group? If you feel it is appropriate, let's go. I don't want to join either into groups because it affects the psychology of trading a lot. In fact, at a time like this, participating in AI groups more than letting me learn. What about investment? Is that you're hardly in any groups? I played with Uncle Kwon. He's a very terrible surfer and speculator, extremely responsible. But you said sometimes we have to separate because being friends means interacting with each other. Then you can tell me more about this part, Mr. Kwon. Your surfing ability, your life experience is also great. I have to understand their strength. The one you yourself recount. Then you can play the top stocks. And usually, escape right at the top. If you feel bad, you cut it. You don't have the mentality. I'm a long-term person. So, I don't fit the style. You play very close so that the two of you can just talk about what's common, or just life. It's from the stories, that life I pulled out, your own way of investing, but you rarely talk about a particular stock, or maybe even what the market is like. Everyone's perspective is also very different. He's a short-term trader, and all those skills, it's a great fit for him. I know it's your ability. That's right. I can't follow. The administration is also very strict. In the first place, it's stocks that aren't my rule I don't buy. But it doesn't matter to him. You just need cash flow. And people feel that there's enough numbness to play. If not, they cut. People are very principled. How many years has he survived and grown? There is a huge amount of wealth now. Everything has its reasons. As you said, it's Mr. Kwon. Due to the speculative method, it fits the personality, and he's making money for a long time. There is a lot and a lot of property, but zero means that it's appropriate for those who can learn. Friends don't mean you can learn. According to Wright, I see few people learning. In fact, we're all playing together. That Theo is impossible. Know your friends. He lost a lot of money. If so, according to such a method, because people don't act in time. If you buy it, people can show you, but they sell it. They only give it. Everyone expects, at a price. With a profit margin like this, people expect this. Where people say TBAT4 or T to 0.5 is done. People no longer the hope of the stock is that they sell, or signal it's bad people sell. But I planted it. My personal expectations in. When people give the stock, they're out. Show me. Then I put my personal expectations in. Let your personal view in. When it's distributed, I keep it, like Uncle Kwong. When he sells, ready you can swing back. That's right, even double swinging. I can't do that. That is also the reason that when the talent is that you can't go back. I'm a psychopath for the same reason that I let one out. Trading discipline, it's very tight. Especially not taking other people's money. For your money. For your responsibility, it's already high. But with other people's money, the responsibility is much higher. It is naturally affected by me. Maybe even later on you. Tell him not to take other people's money. Sometimes it's losing its way. If you can win, it's a mess for others, so it's best to be quiet. That is, if I have a good friend and make money in stocks. But if I learn that method, maybe it doesn't fit your personality. Right, in the stock market, what's appropriate Everyone has to find their own style. Everyone has an economic condition that's very different. Family circumstances are also very different. Personalities are also very different. There are very supportive parents, but there are very strict parents. We must also have independence. That's in the family. Ra is to govern, it must fit perfectly. With each object, each share. Sometimes I like a stock this way, but I don't like the cash flow. But I like to grow. You like to speculate. People are also very different when they choose stocks. And then there's the family situation. Living process. Personality of each person. It's also very different. So I found the right one. It's important. So many brothers and sisters. When I first came in, I was just as naive. I went up and asked, or I comment on YouTube, or a TikTok channel, or meet an AI. I asked if this one is good. Can you buy this one? Can you invest in this one? It means that if people I don't know about my situation, the person who answers will default. I'm like them. Maybe I bought it. They're stupid, but they're investing. They said, yes, you can't buy this one, but it's coming in. If I listen to people again, the stock is gone. I'm that sorry. S right. That S right. It will lead to I have to blame again. According to people who later do not benefit. This YouTube channel you've been talking about since I want it to be a memory. The diary of your life. There is no purpose. Lots of things you commented on up there. There are things that are a bit rude. A little bit. I also felt it was normal. There are answers. It's called a recommendation up there. You can't make recommendations. Everyone has a different perspective. Everyone has a different way of governing. There are friends who ask, you're working on the administrative part. It's very personal. To fit your whole personality. Are you ambitious enough to manage? If you want to eat less, you have a different kind of management. Our productivity, we manage Theo is every moment. I also have to come up with a different way of governing. If one can win big, I can too. Take a certain risk. In a certain part, let me bet. I think it's very normal. That's considered part of it. You can bet on it as a challenge. It's not a manager. It's a machine. It's fixed in one. I think every moment of the market, I can show you how to manage, to make Sao compatible with the market at that time. For example, the period it's pumping money and it's going like how to manage. It's also very different. It still has to be tight. I have to be able to be flexible. I want to fit into this market condition. For example, there are markets that move very quickly. We also have to have a density to move. It's not that I'm fixed in style. The investment is because, when that, I have been investing for a long time. The ability to separate speculation with I have a good ability. So I will be distributed according to the SAL rate. The market is rising. In my portfolio, it's not growing. I still have something to comfort me. It's a low rate. But it's what we do right. The market is what it means. It's called the psychological part. Right. It's the psychological part. So round and round. All of that. It's all solving the psychological problem from the administrator, from my own fit. It's all about dealing with the psyche. Yeah, I analyzed everything. It's very deep. Or do you take it all psychologically? A stock you invest in or speculate on. It must also have a story. I remember when you had an article. I don't remember yours. It's very nice about the part that's behind the financial statements. In the end, you can. Can you tell everyone about that part? I think this part is important. Success or not depends on this part. Because you are also the story that comes through you. Financial director of By How Long Now. The story. He's met an investor like that before. You are what you invest in? When you know the story so well behind. A story related to administration. I used to work in this. IB and investment banking. That investment bank, he has to read the story behind it. I totally believe in the story behind him, but the story is that he had to analyze that part is very deep. Normal in the old days. Your concept is only accessible in technical methods, financial statements, and most of all, the human. It's in there. That part of you is not enough. Find out the story behind it. For example, CMG that's CMC stock. Behind it at Sao, it's digging the road again to make the lights from north to south. VNPT can do it. FPT can do it. And not everyone's allowed to dig. It is very difficult to ask permission. He's got the depth. It's very deep into the business. You can explain it in very small parts. That's his deal. You multiply it by 10. You multiplied it 10 times. Techcombank's stock was also because of that. It's Techcombank. They've solved all the problems. Bad debt of things. At the same time, you buy OTC. 10 times the stock. Deals like that. And then he shared it with me. Because the financial statements are just the tip of the iceberg. And the big sink. It's the manager at the back of the business. People can understand reality. The person who manages the business or the person. Especially as an investment. The banks are making deals. Or raise money. People understand it on the board. What it needs for the purpose of the board. In a game. In a fundraising business. What do people need? Do people need money at that time? It's in the back. Behind the financial statements are the accounts. It's derived from operational reality, and behind the accounts, these are economic contracts that are signed. Perform acceptance tests, and behind the contracts, it's the negotiations again, sometimes lasting for days. Confront the price, legal terms progress. Behind the negotiation, it's the technical alternatives, financial enforcement, details to each